how one boy kind of overcame the anxieties in his life to create all that he did.
I think people should come see the show because it's Marquette's history. It's a family from Marquette that helps you know more about the area. And the story of Will and his disease and how he managed it.
It's important to see the show because it's important to respect the past that we come
I think
from.
you should come to the show because it's just a wonderful story, and it's a true story. And I think it's a story that everyone who lives in Marquette should hear. It's just a really important part of, like everyone else has said, this area's history, and you will not come to the show and be bored. It's just really a moving story.
Marquette Regional History Center had to make it happen. And part of it was the challenge of telling the story, finding the right people to be involved in it, people that we knew were going to be supportive and passionate. And so that was basically what became the most endearing facet for me, was the challenge of actually starting from scratch, just starting from historical relics and building a story to take to the stage and get back.
He taught himself everything that he needed to know.
I'm Truman Durant, and I play Will Adams in the younger character.
It kind of started after I was reading this newspaper. It was the story of an American heiress marrying an English lord, basically because the English lord wanted her money, which I thought that was scandalous. It was insane. How somebody could only marry somebody for money.
Right.
And that was kind of what I based the
Turn off your light, Mr. Moonman. Go and hide your face behind the cloud. Can't you see that we want to spoon man to his company and please a crowd?
Will Adams is really a true inspiration to all of us. He, despite his disease, he really believed in what he wanted to do, and he went on, he did it, whether it was writing a magazine or an operetta or drawing.
Willpower is the story of persistence. It's the story of how one young boy kept on going in life. He didn't let his ossification let him down. He didn't let his obstacles get the better of him.
People should come to the show, Willpower, because it gives us a glimpse into the past.
Just to learn about your hometown, because I realize that I don't know a lot about my hometown. Really, I mean, I know that a lot of famous people were involved in it.
Do you want to go first, Bossy Boots?
Yeah, I'm the younger sister, but I'm kind of bossy. But I still do look up to my older sister, and I know that she's very talented and she has a talent for teaching. One of the things that is interesting about this role for me is that I play adult Grace and elderly Grace, so I get to explore their relationship as they go through life, and it's clear to me that they're very close all through their life, especially when you see at the end when later in their life when Norma receives her big award from Fred, that Grace is there right by her side to support her and congratulate her.
I really like how he always shoots high for everything. He always sets his goals really high and lets nothing stop him. He wants to do more than the minimum. He wants to write plays, draw, read, sing, do everything that he can.
I love the story of Willpower. I heard of Will Adams before the play and kind of was fascinated by his character, and I think it's especially a great story because of all of the other community members involved, the people at that time. And there's some nice connections over time, you know, with Norma Ross' character. I just feel like there's a lot of connectivity and lineage and It's also a very inspiring story, I
The
guess.
person, Will Adams, he was such an interesting person, and just to learn about him and learn about a person who did as much as he did in all the time that he did in Marquette of all places was just
There are
fascinating.
moments in the play that have been extremely emotional, and to watch Norma and Will has been just a very a real treat to see the acting and the intensity with which they bring their roles to life.
Yeah, I agree, and I want my son to see this, and hopefully, my children will be inspired by
An
it.
opportunity to look at the area around you and really have more of a, I think, profound respect for the city that we live in.
Don't give up,
All you
because
lads and little misses like to have your hugs and kisses, but remember half the bliss is when it's dark as it can be.
If once more I start my pleading, tell him darkness we are
it's a family
needing.
trip. Don't give up because there's a roadblock.
We're the Adams family. Who's the patriarch? And I'm Sydney Adams, and my darling wife Harriet.
And I'm Bertha Adams, Will's sister.
And I'm Norma Ross, Will's best friend.
And I'm Will Adams, Esquire.
Because it's completely original, and it's about their town. It's about people that walk the streets in their town, and it's about people that actually were at Kaufman Auditorium and were on that stage. It really is it's kind of an ode to the people. It's honoring the people that were here before us. There's something very special to the fact that it's about people that lived here, that were creative people, that loved here, and
I think people should
like
come to the
Marquette.
show because they might have had incidents in their life that they can relate to like this. And it's inspiring if something happens in your family where they get sick and they don't have a cure for it. Just if you come to the play, it has all of those messages in it to help inspire people to just look up and always have good hopes and always
Just
be happy.
have a really good time. As Will Adams himself said, don't you want to enjoy yourself for once in your life?